And then we are going to have the hottest teacher in this program, even though her name is Grace, but actually she's okay. She's more than ready. Okay, so let's welcome her.
Well, Dana, please explain the but after this presentation. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Grace. I'm currently work at桃園市青埔Junior High School, and well, my previous members, they focus more on the stuff, the content in the courses, and for me, I will focus something outside the classroom. And let's start from the effective ideas. For the first of all, I need to clarify something. People in this program, they are so professional, so they decide and plan their action plan at the very beginning of August. But I just keep adjusting my action plan over and over. So in August, I changed my action plan for once, and after that, I still keep adjusting that. And after back to Taiwan, I still rethink, do I really need or do I really want to adapt what I organized or what I designed in Canada? Because every time when I recap what I learned in Canada, I realize I got some new reflection and I have something new. Sometimes it's not just in the classroom, sometimes it's outside the classroom. And I will start from the effective ideas. If you say it's ideas, then it will be a little bit narrow. I will say the ideas or the thought or the values change my attitude in the classroom. The first one is we teach who we are. Well, it's from Miss Yamamoto's course, yes. She asks us this question. We should know who we are first. If we don't know who we are, then we don't know how to teach. Maybe we will try to imitate other teachers. Maybe we will learn from other teachers' demonstration. But if we don't reflect ourselves, then we don't know what we really want. So that's also one key attitude why I want to keep adjusting my action plan. Another one is being aware of diversity in the classroom. Well, in the textbooks and in all the exams to do with teachers, they will keep asking you to focus more on students' diversity. But until I witness in Canada and see how Jennifer, she used some maybe not that direct way to understand students more, I realized that I used to use some direct way and too direct to my student, like, can you tell me what you're thinking? Or, so why did you do that? I always use this kind of sentences to ask students to directly tell me their stories, their experience, their life history. But it's not effective at all, and it actually sounds a little bit aggressive. So, just like Mina say, we need to make students feel safety. And apparently, my previous students, they never feel safety in front of me. They feel aggressive. Maybe they will think, oh my God, my teacher wants to attack me. So, yeah, so on the attitude part, I apply Lucy Mayer, what she shared is SEE, is social emotion education. So to put more focus on students' own story or their life experience. Okay, so that's the first one. Just like I mentioned before, teachers should know themselves before they learn how to teach. So I learn from myself, and I know what I want, and I even throw back to my junior high school life and think, what kind of challenge I encountered when I was a junior high school student, and compare to what my students they are encountering now. So I keep asking me these questions. What kind of teacher am I, and what's my belief of being a teacher, and how to connect myself with my teaching practice. So keep asking me these questions, made me keep adjusting. And because previous members they use some course, I also want to use some course to show my attention to my courses. The first one is Jennifer say diversity in a classroom is the most beautiful thing. Well, at first time when I heard Jennifer say this sentence, I feel a little bit conflict. Diversity, it used to be something to do with struggling or challenge for a teacher, but she used most beautiful. So it's quite interesting. And if you take a look, when I'm back to Taiwan and I take a look at my students, those naughty ones, when you try to understand them, you will realize, oh yeah, they got some different faults. Maybe their original ideas or their attitude is not because they want to be a naughty student. Sometimes they just want to maybe draw your attention. And why do they want to draw your attention? Because there is some life story behind. And also, Lucy Lemmer, she also said each student brings their own story, history, characteristics to the classroom. So that's two quotes I need to keep in my mind all the time. Yeah, and that's what I adapted. So I have to focus more on students' life stories. And even when I design my courses, I still need to keep thinking about that. Okay, so here comes my action plan. So my action plan, the topic of my action plan is not a certain approach. It's more like a principle, more like an ideal. My topic is from culture to self-identity. When I arrived in Canada, I realized that there are so many things to do with Canada around. Like you can see maples, you can see Canada flags, and you can see lots of people that are talking about hockey. And I was so curious that what kind of environment, what kind of education make people they are so aware of their own culture, and they just regard this culture as part of their life. They have, I should say, they have the awareness of their own culture. We all live in Taiwan, right? But sometimes we are not aware of our culture, apparently, or in detail. At least that's a phenomenon from my students. And so I was inspired by all Canadians. And then my purpose is to stimulate students' culture awareness in English classes. So that's my principle. Okay, so here comes the first period. So for the first period, because it's the beginning of the semester, so students, they just finished their summer vacation. So the most important things for them is to talk about their summer vacation. So the first period, it happened to the similar topic for their textbook in their Kangshan book 3. So I just give students the reading in their textbook and ask them to grasp the information in the reading. And after the reading, students should make a structure. I call that graphic organizer. It's something it's actually just a graph. Make students to withdraw those information and what they think is key for the article. And then I ask students to share their summer vacation with each other. So what I apply the first one is gossip. Other members, they also have gossip technique in their classroom. And gossip is something you can have, let students have the opportunities to share their stories with peers. So they can stand up and walk around in their classroom. So that will motivate students to speak English. Because if they speak English, then they are allowed to walk around in the classroom. And then students will ask to use a graph to organize the reading. So the left picture is the graphic organizer I use. It's just a graph, apparently, but I use the word to make students more easily to understand. And the right one is the graph of gossip. And I changed the topic in the worksheet to their summer. So students, they will share what they did in their summer and other people's summer vacation experience. So that's for my period 1. And my period 2 is make students to feel the emotion of a poem. The poem is called Society's Girl. And as I mentioned, I want students to have a culture awareness. And I want students to have cultural awareness to connect to their self-identity. So this poem is talking about self-identity. I really love this one. Poem is a little bit difficult for 8th graders, but I give them some keywords, and students, they can speculate from the text, from the context. So that's my second period. And what apply is true for all, true for some, true for me. In Gabriel's presentation, he said that's an icebreaker for him. But I use this as one of the techniques. I use true for all, true for some, true for me to let students to share their own stories again. Something you are in common, and something in your life is unique. And STAR makes students to realize, oh yeah, I have something special. Not like my peers. I'm still have myself. I'm not just one of them. I'm the one. So I will use true for all, true for some, true for me for my following classes. And the second one is thinking like a photographer. After they have the silent reading for the poem, I will ask them to speculate the society's girl, her situation, and what she faced to the people around her, outside her mental situation. And I will ask them to think what's the real self in her mind. So students need to draw this part. And because the society's girl, I roughly just divide that into 2 sections. The first one is outside her mind. Another one is inside her mind. So I just use 2 blank here, 2 frank here. Okay. For period 3, I asked them to give peers some feedbacks about their production last period. So they need to take a look on students, on their peers thinking like a photographer and give some feedback. And I also use a picture book called N is for Maples. And I use this is because it's talking about Canadian culture. And I will ask them to use T is for Taiwan and similar sentences to think what kind of culture they think is very unique for Taiwanese. So, because they need to give their peers some feedbacks, so I changed the 2-star 1 wish to 2-star 1 question. Because some students, they have special creation, so, but creation is not something you can, ask them to improve. It's something you can maybe offer your question. So I just changed that into 1 question. And also true for all, true for me, true for some, true for me. So after they are having their feedback, they need to post it on the blackboard. Below the work, what they want to ask question and what they want to give 2 stars. And the right one is one of the special work. The student laid the top one blank and the below one just in a mess. Because he thinks that's what society's girl, her real life, her real mind. And that's the picture book. I is for RNAs, that's what student they made. And H is for hockey. 15 minutes already? Really? Sorry. Okay. And then let me jump to the conclusion quickly. So the next one is period 4. I asked them to conclude all they learned and their cultural awareness into the personal mobile. And because of time limitation, so I asked them to draw the painting to this personal mobile. And that's one of the students. She say, because I changed the topic of the personal mobile. The first one is something to do with Taiwanese culture and yourself. And the second one is to do with your family. The third one is to do what your favorite. And the last one is something ever hurt you. So the student, she just draw these pictures to show her life story and her experience. Yeah. And that's their feedbacks. Okay? And yeah. That's very good. Thank you. And mostly I need to say thank you for all the partners in this program. You are the most talented and most considerate people ever. And thank you, everyone.